Welcome to Maker's Perspective. This piece is going to be a waisted vase, essentially a vase that has a waist. Its top and bottom are about the same size, the narrow middle almost an hourglass. Again, with all the pieces in this series, I start with a small starter bubble, and then we'll gather on top of that and make the piece. Now at the bench, you can see how I ensure that the bubble has a little bit more thickness at the bottom. Though I blow out that thickness a bit, I always try to keep that little bit of thickness there and have it more blown out towards the pipe. Given a little air cool with a fan, now it's cool enough to gather on. Drop it in at a slight angle, and then do the 2 to 3 revolutions once fully submerged inside the pot. And there I come out with my gather. The whole piece is moving nicely. You can see the movement there, touching the whole thing in the block. But I'll still go back to the glory hole and give it a heat. Coming back out from the glory hole, you can see I hold it down, let it stretch, and then squat it back up with a block. Once it looks good, I'll have JW blow, and you can see the top blows out and there's a little thickness on the bottom. Blow a little bit more, and I usually start marvering on the tip, and we'll slowly come down to the pipe end. I don't find it any easier or difficult to start marvering or going one way or the other, because I think it's good to work both ways. And that's just something you'll have to do. It will take time and practice, no matter the scale. So now, heating it up, you can see there's more thickness in the bottom. Come out of the glory hole, hang it down, jack blades on the sides, see that thickness on the bottom, and we blow out the shoulder. Start my jack line, angle my jacks out to keep my hand cool and to support this shoulder. You can still see the piece was moving quite nicely and still hot. But I want more heat, and it's also good never to work it until it's just cold. Always keep the bubble or the piece warm. And I'm supporting the piece with the shoulders with my jack blades while JW blows. Then I go on, open up my jack blades, pull out on the colder shoulder, and then go straight up and down to finish that jack line. You can still see the thickness in the bottom. Now I basically have a sphere. I'll heat up that sphere and drop it out. Start to hang it in the glory hole and drop it out a bit. Make sure it's straight, go onto the colder area, and then have JW blow. Essentially, I'm making a very soft cylinder. Once I have that shape, I'll go in and I'll make sure I heat the middle. So flashing past the first burner all the way in the glory hole, then coming out and putting the middle of the piece directly in the burner. I take my jacks and go straight up and down, slowly squeeze, and start angling out. Then I have him start to blow.
Stop.
In order to get the whole piece to flow into a nice smooth transition, you heat that shape up and you'll drop out the whole thing. Then I'll go back to the bench to further accentuate the curve. So heating the whole piece, coming out, giving a light swing, grab my jacks, go in at an angle, have JW blow, and make sure I can fill out the bottom to kind of match the width of the shoulder at the top. Go in with the jacks again and ride that curve. And then use the blades and push into the bottom while JW blows. I really like using the jacks and not switching to the coldness of the paddle end. Blades are hot from going on into the waste, and so I'm not really sucking out too much heat. But I'm just kind of refining the shape and setting it up for when I paddle. I grab my blow hose and I'm back at the glory hole. For this bottom, I don't just heat the bottom, as I would say a cylinder. I heat a little bit further back, that way I can accentuate the curve of the bottom. Taking my jacks, going into the waist, and then going into the bottom, but kind of motioning them kind of up and down, I'm able to accentuate that curve while JW pushes the bottom. If I stayed in one place, then I'd have a cone, but here it has kind of a nice gombo or fluted look. Give it a quick mark for the punty. and now flash the piece. Here we have JW making the punty. He comes straight on, pushes the glass back, then at a slight angle. That angle right there in pushing gets the shoulder. It's a little flat up there, so then if you come up on that shoulder and just gingerly marver and pull back, you'll get the nice roundness that you're looking for, while still maintaining the shoulder that supports the piece. The last flash for me. He comes over, and I hit my spot centered up, and then center it up with the tweezers. Pushing down a little bit with my jack or my tweezer blades. Switch tweezers and drop the excess water on the moil, and then drop 2 drops, 1 on each side, the jack line, and bonk. For straightening this, I'll go back to using my tweezers. I'm preheating them on the moil. Going with 1 blade in, find that high side, lift up, and bring the piece back while I'm also pushing down. Do the same thing again. Roll it away, lift up, push down, and bring it back. While bringing it back, I'm letting it fall on center. And then rolling away, I can see how well of a job I did, or if I need to address the problem. That looks pretty good, so I'm back to heating. Now for this, I need to heat up that top quarter. Essentially trim it, puff it, and then open it up to accentuate that area so that it almost mirrors the bottom section.
Something I could probably just drop on, kind of like I do the cover. Yeah. You know, yeah. Just drill a hole out of something like that size, you know.
Come back to the bench, grab my tweezers, and I'll tweeze from the top to pull out that fresh glass. Then I'll start my cut maybe about 1/4 of an inch past where I've tweezed, past that cold glass and into the area that is still hot. Feed into my shears and finish. Back to the heat, and now I'll just jack and paddle. Remember, you don't want to make this heat too long, as you don't want to thicken up the glass too much, since you've just spent time thinning it out. So just a jack on the inside, and a light paddle.
Good.
Make sure my cut was nice and even. So you can also see where my shoulder was. Now I need to blow that top area out and then smooth that shoulder and top area into a nice contour that mimics the bottom. Now remember, when I Sophie, I take the punty and stick it a little further off the bench. JW comes and blows, and then I pull back the punty to have him stop blowing. Nice deep flash. And now just addressing that top area where I'll open it up a bit more. Back at the bench, I'm going to start my jacks into the waist to follow that curve, and then to go in and lift open the lip.
Great. Puff again.
One of the key moves there was following that curve and putting the jacks there so that when I inflate or lift open again, I can't open up or overinflate that area because I basically chill it each time I come back from the heat. So jacks on the outside, following that curve, making sure that's nice. That way I don't blow up that area, but then I take the Sophie and can blow up that very top area. Basically, I'm trying to work forward instead of backwards, if you think about it, by preparing the piece for what's to come. So again, following that curve, and then opening up the lip all the way will be my next move. Back at the bench, holding it down to let the lip come out a little bit, follow that curve, and then coming in and lifting all the way.
Poked it right there.
Then going back on the outside and finding that transition and riding that curve all the way up until the lip.
Okay.
And there you have a wasted vase. I'll just torch the bottom and the punty, get a little movement, then a deep flash.
Yeah, that'd be a pity.
Go back at the bench. You can see the piece kind of, when I stop, how it sags. That's good movement on the punty. Give it a drop of water, a flip, and a bonk. Torch out the sharp spot from the punty,
Cool.
and finish. One can see now how the wasted vase and the cone relate. Thank you for watching Maker's Perspective. Cheers.